Okay, let's flip John Roberts' book open to page 85 here. And I'll show you a better view in a minute, but if we check, we can see what this is. So if we had have done that yesterday, well, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. Also here in Stefan Drambinski's book, he's got a couple of drawings that they're not real good, but I'll show them to you anyway. Now you will notice that Stefan has drawn the stand for the weather vane, but the weather vane itself, well, he hasn't drawn that in yet. Okay, checking in my monitor right now. I'm noticing that reflection down here in the corner. And when I was editing this exact same scene out a minute ago, when I had slid the camera up like this, I realized that I did not have my overhead lights adjusted far enough out. So I was getting reflection, and it reminded me of a comment that I got yesterday that I was going to reply to about what is the let me move this out of the way here. What is the best angle to have your light coming in? From either, behind, do you have it from behind the camera, or do you have it from the sides? And for me, I find that most of the time, if I have the light coming in at a 45-degree angle, so that you don't get direct reflection back off of a flat surface, and yet you still get a little bit of shadow to make contrast, that's generally the best, coming in from the sides, or if you just have one light. Now I've got 7 altogether. These came from my workshop down in the basement, and I had them, so I thought, why not use them? But I find the spotlight is actually quite handy, and I'll be demonstrating that in a minute to show the best way that I have found if you want to show your sprue, which is over there. We'll use that one over there as a demonstrator. And then then the spotlight works really good. Another thing that is really handy, I don't know if can do this with your camera, but I can hook my camera into a monitor, and I can, instead of looking at the little tiny screen in the back, you get a nice sharp screen that you can focus a lot easier on. That really helps. But for lighting, come in. I would say more from the side than from behind. Reflection is a real big problem, because sometimes you're trying to shoot a scene, and no matter how you have the lights, part of it is wrong. I'm not a lighting expert. I think one of the viewers actually commented about a year ago and said something about how he had worked in the movie industry, like the Hollywood sort of thing, and lighting was his specialty. So I don't know if that viewer is listening right now, but maybe he can comment to you. Anyway, let me just reset up a little bit here, and I'll show you how I have found it really makes a difference, and I will try to demonstrate if you're trying to shoot something small and detailed like the sprue. Okay, I think we're more or less in focus here. Um, you'll notice that if you can read the screen, the ISO is 800. When I turn this spotlight on, you'll notice the ISO is gonna drop significantly, providing you can see the screen, of course. Anyway, what I want to demonstrate though is, you notice each one of these pieces has a number, right? And I want you to notice how much clearer you can read the number when there's a light coming in, casting a very distinct shadow. Now this is only good for when you're shooting something like this. Now there's another way that you can shoot a sprue as well, and that would be to have a very dark background. But then what will happen is, I don't know if your camera's manually adjustable or not, but the auto exposure will tend to read the dark background, and it will overexpose your sprue so badly that it's going to be all washed out, and there's going to be no detail at all, just the general shape. Anyway, let's okay, give the auto exposure a chance to settle down. Okay, you should be able to see how those numbers and everything, they just popped right out here now. At least this is the way I like to shoot a sprue. Maybe I'll move the spotlight over top, and you'll notice when you lose the shadow, you also lose your contrast and your perceived sharpness. It's really not going to be any sharper. It's just that you've got more contrast going on, and you think it's sharper. Now let's not spill my coffee here. Okay, I personally like it like that the best. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Don't come from directly behind the camera with your light. Come in a little bit from the side. Well, of course, depending on what you're doing. Some objects you want to have the light coming directly from behind if possible, but you just have to experiment around and just whatever's going to work best for you. Anyway, thanks for asking, by the way. Now, that was a lot of fun. At least it was for me. Got to do something different for a change. Now, we left off yesterday's episode right here at Andy's photo etch bender. And I was thinking that maybe what we should try to do is, okay, so this little leg has to bend up about 30 degrees this way, and this one has to go about 30 degrees the other way. And I was wondering if I was to, I guess I better back it off a little bit here. If I was to use the bender to just hold it down, that way I'll only bend the leg. And yes, I will put the macro lens on. Although, mind you, we probably can see it pretty good. Right now I have my what I call my normal wide angle lens. It goes from 16 millimeters to 35 or something like that. And right now I've got it adjusted at 35 millimeter. Okay, now can I grab hold of this leg and just bend it up just a little bit? I'll put the macro lens on. Okay, I was going to use the razor blade here, but I'm thinking maybe my photo etch bender, if I could get it underneath, just underneath that blade, underneath that. Maybe if I go this way. Whoops. Sorry, Andy, I scratched your bender here. How can I get this underneath? Maybe this is it's sharp, but it's kind of a blunt sharp, if you know what I mean. Just trying to pick that up. There, like that. I think I'm underneath it. No, not really. Maybe if I was to come in. See, I'm trying not to get my fingers in your vision there. You know, I might have to use the razor blade. Bear with me. Okay, this is just a standard ordinary razor blade. Trying to get it underneath there. See, I want to lift it up and twist it over without bending the leg. There might be a better way to do this, but I can't think of it right now. No, I don't want to bend the weather vane itself. Let's see if I get the razor blade on top of the weather vane. No, this is not working. No, it's not a good idea either. Well, maybe I've got to pull that back out just a little bit here. Get Mr. T's poking device here. See, it has to bend right there. You should be able to see that crease now. I think I pulled it back. At least I can see it real good. Okay, I do believe that does look like it might be enough. Now, it's going to be kind of hard now to put it in the other way. Let's back this off. Okay, now you can see here where I've got to bend this one at this joint up the same way, sort of. So it forms a little tripod. I might have to, let's see what it, I can't really put it in like that. Wonder what would happen if I just sort of locked it in place, sort of like this. I'm just gonna gently lock it down here. Okay, and now can I hook underneath this one and just lift it up? Whoops. I think it's almost right. Now let's take a look at that, see what we got. Now I'm going to stick my thumb in there so you can get an idea of the perspective here, because I know you think this is big. Why can't I grab hold of this? I was going to try and stand it up, but I do believe it's just about exactly right. Let's get our piece of the ship that we have to mount this on, and maybe we can get one leg in one hole, and then yeah, I'm thinking out loud again. Okay, if you remember, one of the legs was much more heavy duty than the others. I think what we'll do is we'll have that one as the lead. Okay, now if I can just fasten it in there, then we'll bend the others into shape later. I think that's probably the way it's supposed to go. Now
Just want to see how this is going to drop in there. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we could get it to, it almost wants to stay there. So I think I'll put a little bit of, I wonder, I should have done an experiment. I was thinking about it yesterday. And that is the, that Revell glue that we've got. And I was just wondering how well it sticks. I know that we know that the extra thin will not, absolutely not, stick to photo etch. It just peels right off. But the Revell might be a little bit different. We know that the being as we know that CA glue does stick to photo etch, it might not be the best glue, but I'm going to try and put a little tiny bit of CA thin in this front hole, and then drop the poke the leg down into it. Once again, I'm thinking out loud. Now, I know you didn't see me doing it, but I've bent the two back legs a little bit further back, and I've bent them in so that they're more or less lined up with those holes. Now, what I'm wondering is, I know that this is wiggling all over the place. When we put this in like this, the weather vane is going to be sort of in the wrong direction for going straight ahead. So I'm just wondering if we should bend our weather vane. Let's see if I can't just steady this on something here. Okay, if we just bend our weather vane in the right direction now, so it's sort of weathercocking into the wind. It's hard to grab hold of here. Okay, something like that. Because I'm afraid if I try to grab hold of it and do it after it's glued in place, I'm probably going to break it out of place. Okay. Now, I think now it's probably safe to try and glue it in place. I think it's going to more or less stay there. More or less. Okay, now this is my my homemade applicator. And I don't have any on it yet. But now I do. Okay. Now, if previously I accidentally bumped this out of your field of view, I so sincerely apologize. Now let's try and get that in there. Oh. It's so hard to accidentally not bump the tuna tin. Oh, now it fell into the tuna tin. About a minute has passed here. Oh, please stay there. Oh. You know what? I wonder if maybe, being as that they sort of all line up, maybe what I should be doing is doing all three at the same time here. could just move that one leg into that hole. It's so close. Now the other leg is pulling out. Well, it could be that we're just going to have it like that. Maybe what I should have done is done the two back legs first and then swung this one in. It's so close. Remember the poking device from the Bismarck? I wonder if I could use it to hook. You know, you want to just grab hold of it and twist it and, you know, push it down, but of course that's not going to work. The CA is going to be cured any minute. Well, let's just leave it like that and see how it looks.
Now I think we've had a pretty good day. All being well, we'll work on this tomorrow. All being well. Thanks for watching, everybody. All being well, we will see you tomorrow.